few people have been asking for more shots of scenery from New Zealand in my videos, so here we have it. Links to all the tools in this video can be found down in the description below. Reviews of these tools can also be found up in the top corner. A few weeks ago we did the bestest, most favourite, my top 5 Makita 18 volt LXT tools, and this week we are doing the 36 volt. And by 36 I mean 18 and 18, not the standalone 36 volt tools. Let's get into it. This top 5 list was actually harder to put together than the 18 volt one. It was harder deciding what order to put tools. So coming in at number 5, the 7-inch angle grinder. I had the 7 and the 9-inch, and I've gone with the 7 because it's just easier to use. I like it more, just I don't need the 9 all that often. So coming in at number 5 is the 7-inch. This is the biggest issue with these tools. I find the 40 volt ones, once they bring out a 40 volt 9-inch and 7-inch, that'll be fantastic. But until such time, we have these big clunky. It's a little bit cumbersome on that end, but the weight distribution is actually fairly good. The paddle switch tools, the 7 and the 9 are exactly the same size in the body and everything, just a different size, diameter blade and guard, of course. You can get them with AWS, this one doesn't have it, but the newer versions have the AWS available as well. Next up, the Rotary Hammer. This is the first 36 volt tool I got from Makita. Look, it's so old, it's not even brushless. This is the only brushed tool in the 5 tools I'm going to be showing you today. This is rated as a 26mm drill, light on the front. It has basic drill function, hammer and drill, hammer, and when you have it in this position, you can free turn the end to get it on the right position for when you want to use the hammer, for if you're using a chisel, so you can adjust the angle. Mostly used on this. Comes with a removable chuck so that you can chuck on a standard chuck. Not that I really use this, I was glad that I had it when I got it. I really wanted that chuck, but I've got so many other drills that I really don't ever use it. It just stays with this one. This has been superseded a few times now, and the new 40 volt one, I think the new 40 volt one only does 28mm. One day we might get something like that to compare against this old model. Until then, that's my number 4. Coming in at number 3, we have the Circular Saw. This one comes with AWS. Have a battery check here, a torque light. When that green light comes on there, it means it's ramping up the torque when you're struggling through the timber. It's in kind of a strange place because you can't really see it when you're using it anyway because your hand's there. So that's a bit odd and a bit useless really. Good light on the front. You can attach a rafter hook or some sort of hook there to hook on whatever you wish. Didn't come with it. Comes with the dust extractor port. That's handy. A lot of Makita circular saws don't come with that. You've got to buy them separately. It's what I call a standard size circular saw, 184mm, 7 1/4 inch. quite heavy. Having the 2 batteries on there bulks it up a bit compared to the smaller 18 volt 165 saw. So requires a little bit more heft, but with that you get a lot more power. Great for ripping compared to the 18 volt ones. Has positive stops for when you're beveling at 45 and 22.5. Goes all the way around to 56. I better get a full review done on this saw before the 40 volt comes along and replaces it. Anyway, that's number 3. From here on, it got a little tricky. Who's gonna be number 1? This is what I consider to be the first real battery chainsaw. I've had a couple of cheap battery chainsaws in the past, the Ryobi and some other brand I can't even remember, and they were completely useless rubbish. This was the first battery chainsaw I ever used where I thought, hey, you can actually use this as a chainsaw. It has a 14-inch or 350mm bar. There is no tools required for any of the adjustments or removing this. Nice and easy. Wow, I've actually cleaned it too. Huh. When did that happen? They do of course have limitations over a petrol chainsaw in that you have to keep charging the batteries. Batteries don't last all that long, but this one is pretty darn good. The great advantage over the petrol is you don't have to carry a petrol can around, you don't have the fumes from petrol, you don't have to mix any oil with petrol, you don't have to pull start the damn thing. You just push the button, pull the trigger, and away you go. Real easy. It's much safer to use in a petrol one because if it binds up, it just cuts out. It just stops, pull the saw out, start again. I think this was the second Makita 36V tool I bought, and it only just got knocked into second place. And it got knocked into second place because of this tool. Drum roll, please. Coming in at pole position, we have bum ba da bum bum bum. Now I've done it to you again. Number 1, the miter saw. It goes to the left 60 degrees, to the right 60 degrees. It bevels 48 degrees this way. It bevels 48 degrees that way. It slides really nicely on these twin rails. It has AWS, a laser, and great dust extraction via these 2 different ports. And as well as all that, it even cuts wood. And like the chainsaw, I think this is the first real battery miter saw. This is the first one where you don't feel the power loss from a powered one. This is good enough to stand up against a powered miter saw. In fact, it's better than the Makita 240V saw that I replaced this with. So there you go. It's more powerful, smoother, nicer cuts. If you saw my video review of this, you will have seen how critical I was of these side rails, well, due to the issue that the tool came with. I haven't had any problems with it since. I haven't had to readjust it, so that's been good. And so that's number 1 of my top 5 greatest, number one, bestest, favoritist, tist 36 volt tools. Next up, I guess we'll have to do the 40 volt ones, but as I've only got one at the moment, that could take a while, but that's going to change very soon. Does this count as a 36 volt tool? Because it's also very handy. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one. I'll put a link down in the description to my favorite 18 volt tools if you want to go and check that out. Till next time, stay safe and all that jazz, and I'll see you later.